Meghan Markle just got rejected by Dior, and it wasn't pretty. After arriving in Paris, the Duchess wasn't just visiting, she was staging a comeback. Her team tried to play it off as a private fashion trip, but inside Dior's marble offices, staff were already briefed. No meetings, no fittings, no exceptions. Word had already gone out, Meghan's name was flagged. She wasn't just a guest, she was an unwanted one. Sources within Dior leaked the real story. A memo had been passed around weeks earlier advising no unscheduled appearances from the Duchess. All inquiries through legal. But Meghan, with all her usual confidence, showed up at Dior expecting a couture session. But when she got there, the list said otherwise. There was no appointment, no reservation, nothing. Dior had no plans to work with her. What was meant to be a private reconnection quickly became a cold, silent rejection. Dior's communications lead stepped forward and calmly confirmed there was no booking for Meghan. No reservation, no collaboration. It wasn't public yet, but in the fashion world, whispers spread fast. The word was out, Meghan Markle was shut out. For her, it wasn't just an inconvenience, it was total humiliation. She had been chasing this partnership for months, pitching multiple ambitious proposals. Meghan's team had visions of her as Dior's new face, something iconic, a blend of legacy and rebellion. But Dior's message was clear. We dress legends, we don't create them from controversy. That, it seems, was the end of it. Her name vanished from Dior's contact list, and the polite rejection that morning was merely the final act of a decision that had already been made. Then came the receipts. Leaked emails surfaced showing how Meghan's outreach to Dior had been ongoing for months. Her final proposal? A bold comparison to Princess Diana, an elegant new generation reimagined. But it was too much. For Dior's board, this wasn't just another PR stunt, it was too risky. They voted to blacklist her, and soon after, other luxury brands followed suit. But then the twist came. As Dior quietly tried to contain the matter, social media suddenly exploded with praise for Meghan's Dior style. Influencers started posting identical lines, repeating hashtags, all suspiciously coordinated. Coincidence? Not according to Dior. Their internal investigators quickly traced the praise back to Meghan's PR team. To the fashion house, it was clear she was trying to manufacture a connection where there was none. And so, Dior issued a brief statement to European editors. No current or planned partnership with Meghan Markle. It was as final as it was public. And in the world of couture, silence isn't peace, it's punishment. But the fallout didn't end with Dior. Within the luxury empire of LVMH, which owns Dior, Givenchy, Louis Vuitton, and more, Meghan's name started showing up on restricted lists. These lists aren't public, but they're well known in the industry. Names that are too controversial, too unpredictable, or simply too much of a PR liability. Soon, other brands began reviewing their own plans and quietly backing away. Givenchy, which had once dressed Meghan for royal events, was the first to cut ties. Chanel followed suit, and even stylists who once provided her with luxury samples began receiving discreet warnings to avoid association. It wasn't personal, it was just business. Meghan had become exactly what fashion houses fear the most, a liability. Paris didn't exile her publicly, it simply stopped responding. And that silence? That was louder than any scandal could have been. But Meghan wasn't done yet. She showed up at Balenciaga's Paris Fashion Week show, as if to prove that she still had a place among the fashion elite. Cameras flashed, lights sparkled, and for a moment, it seemed like her redemption was just within reach. But the moment she walked into that show, insiders say you could feel the atmosphere shift. It was as if the air froze. Editors kept their distance, designers turned cold, and the applause that followed her entrance was more polite than powerful. It wasn't just her outfit that people were talking about, it was the energy she brought with her. Backstage, whispers spread like wildfire. Stylists and assistants traded comments about Meghan, but not about her dress or hair. No, this was something deeper. A scent of something off, some said it was perfume, too much of it, masking something unpleasant. In fashion, gossip spreads faster than any fragrance. And that night, it wasn't just the smell. The whispers spoke of her energy. It was heavy, suffocating. And in Paris, that's something you can't come back from. But then came the unthinkable. But after leaving the Balenciaga show, Meghan was spotted filming near the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, the same tunnel where Princess Diana tragically lost her life. Her team claimed it was just a scenic drive, but Paris didn't buy it. Meghan, who had publicly compared herself to Diana, choosing to film there, it felt too intentional, crossing a sacred line. To the Parisians who lived through Diana's tragedy, it was tone-deaf at best, and at worst, it was a calculated performance, masquerading as tribute. One former Dior stylist summed it up in a hushed tone. Diana's legacy belongs to memory, not marketing. And just like that, Meghan's plans to reclaim Diana's story backfired spectacularly. By the end of Fashion Week, it was all over. The dream Meghan Meghan had of rewriting her image in couture had crumbled. It wasn't just Dior who had cut ties, no designer had dressed her, no stylist had taken her side. Her Balenciaga outfit, not even from the brand itself. The shoes, simple black pumps, were the only true Balenciaga piece she wore. The rest, arranged through intermediaries, not the label. To fashion insiders, that was code for exclusion. No fittings, no personal connection. She wasn't a guest of honor, she was a guest of circumstance. And as the whispers continued, Meghan realized too late that Paris wasn't buying her story. Editors who once flattered her now kept their distance. Stylists declined requests. Photographers stopped angling for her best side. It wasn't cruelty, it was quiet rejection. Because in Paris, they don't boo you out, they simply stop looking up when you walk in. By the time Meghan boarded her flight back home, the cameras were still flashing, but the warmth behind them had gone cold. Paris had made its decision. What started with a rejection at Dior ended with something far worse: a silent, glaring distance. Meghan's attempts to rewrite her image in high couture had failed. Paris had exposed her for what she truly was, a performer trying to play the part, but without the authenticity to pull it off. In the end, Paris didn't offer her redemption, it offered her only distance. And to the fashion elite, that was the loudest rejection of all. As Meghan boarded her flight, Paris remained indifferent, the city's cold shoulder more powerful than any public humiliation could have been. The fashion world had made its decision, and there was no turning back. No applause, no heartfelt praise, just the eerie silence of a scene that had gone from promising to tragic in the blink of an eye. The truth was clear: style without substance is just an empty shell, and in the world of high fashion, that shell had cracked. Meghan's attempt to align herself with Dior and Paris's couture scene had ultimately backfired. She had come to France hoping to find a place among fashion's most powerful elite to reclaim her narrative and restore her image. But the whispers, the cold stares, and the quiet rejection told a different story. One of a woman who had misunderstood the very essence of style and legacy. Paris didn't need to tear her down. It just stopped looking up. And that, in the world of high fashion, is the ultimate punishment: being forgotten, becoming irrelevant. The city had spoken, and for Meghan, the message was clear: you can't rewrite your image with a facade. Authenticity is the only currency that truly matters. And in Paris, she had none left. She had none left. She had